294. Braking probably 50 meters earlier and just about getting stopped for the corner. Absolute lunacy. Hi guys, Jimmy Fluke here from the Apex Racing Sim Center, just finding a bit of time in between data packs and preparing for our upcoming open day to take a first look at the brand new Porsche Mission R concept car that's just been released this week on iRacing for the 2022 Season 4 build. If you haven't already seen, as well as the Mission R, 2 new tracks have also been released on iRacing this week, which Kevin and Peter are taking a look at, so be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss them. The Porsche Mission R is a concept car first revealed at the International Mobility Show in September 2021. In qualifying mode, it can put out a whopping 1,073 horsepower through its 4-wheel drive system, whilst it weighs just 1,500 kilos, helping it towards a reported top speed of over 300 kph. See what we can get to today. Okay, that's quite enough of the talking. Let's see how the very first all-electric car drives on iRacing. Okay, so first looks at the car itself, just to look at the aesthetics of it. Actually, it looks a really nice looking car. It sort of almost reminds me a little tiny bit of the Audi R8, which is actually one of my favorite cars of all time. Big massive spoiler on the back, so we'll see if that actually helps us through the corner. But yeah, we're gonna get stuck in with driving a short lap here. Obviously, once we jump in, we're very much caught out by the fact that there's no sound, no engine noise as such of any note. There are 2 main things just to be aware of, which is the basically the deployment of the energy. So we've got a race mode and then a qualify mode, which, as I've mentioned before, is over 1,000 horsepower. So we'll start with the race mode, and that's, I think, going to give us a better idea of how the car actually drives. So we'll head on out and see how we get on. So you can tell immediately that we've got quite the whine of the electric motor, and we'll hit the brakes and make a start here. So it's very cumbersome at low speed, after having sort of given this a little bit of a try on stream earlier in the day. But straight line speed does look pretty good even in the lower power output. So we're getting upwards of 260 kph there. Hard on the brakes. One thing obviously that probably should be mentioned is the fact we've only got 1 forward gear, which makes sense with the electric motor. We don't need conventional gearing given the mammoth torque that the car has. The car doesn't stop brilliantly. The braking distances there are fractionally longer than the Porsche 992 Cup car, and in qualifying trim those distances are probably increased 1.5 times, so you're braking more like a Lotus 49 more than you are a modern race car, so it is quite the challenge. But in terms of like the medium speed corners, the car handles okay. A little bit pushy, especially on initial throttle pickup. But it takes the curves very nicely, and obviously accelerates very well off the corner. In terms of lap time, in general, it's more in line at a technical track with the Porsche Cup car, with tracks that are more biased towards longer straights, certainly more in line with the GT3 cars. And in qualifying trim, they blow, or they are both blown completely out of the water by this thing, because the straight line speed is such an advantage compared to the other Porsche GT style cars on the sim. Best thing that I can probably describe it as is, in terms of its cornering capability, it's probably more in line with the Cayman GT4. So when we add 1,000 horsepower to that, you can imagine that it is quite the the rough ride, shall we say. So what you're probably noticing in terms of my driving technique here is I am sort of trail braking quite deep into the corner and being fairly gentle on throttle pickup, just so that the car just doesn't immediately push wide. It's very much a point and shoot sort of corner, or sorry, point and shoot sort of car to get off the corner. I think it's about time that we tried the full 1073 horsepower of the qualifying set, so let's give this a bit of a go and see how we go with it. So, immediately, it's completely bonkers in comparison to what we've got before. Breakpoints are much further back. It takes a lot more energy to get this thing stopped, and it is pretty wild. So, on we go, and you can see the speed rising immediately here, well beyond what we were achieving before. 294, braking probably 50 meters earlier, and just about getting stopped for the corner. Absolute lunacy. So, we'll try and improve on our 1 minute 40.2. I suspect we will, provided we can keep the car on the road. So, breakpoint back now to this access road on the left. Feed the car in, nice and aggressive on the throttle. Pick up the all-track, we'll not worry too much about that. Braking again about 50 meters before. Feel so slow. Keep it really tight here, so you can be flat through the left-hander there of 3. Go ahead and now back down towards the hairpin. Speed is ludicrous. And the noise is ludicrous as well, it has to be said. Nice and gentle, get the car straightened and then punch off the corner. Hard onto the brakes. A little bit more fiddly through 9 and 10, but all good. And then braking very early here and just slowly ease the car in. It just doesn't feel direct on the front end to be able to just snap the car in. You have to gently persuade it into an apex is probably the best way for me to put it. And then we're lifting through here, which we very rarely have to do for the final 2 corners. Again, the nose really doesn't want to get into the corner, and then just feather the throttle, and then as soon as you can punch the car off the corner, drive for the line, and that is 4.5 seconds faster, which is quite substantial, and it makes the car feel completely different. You're almost driving a completely different specification of car entirely, so going from qualifying to race trim in itself will be quite a challenge. But yeah, that's another lap of Hockenheim in the Porsche Mission R. Well, that was quite an experience, and it's one that leaves me with mixed feelings. The acceleration, particularly in qualifying mode, is extraordinary. However, the car is possibly too fast in a straight line for its own good. Mechanically and aerodynamically, it can't quite handle the power that it has. If you don't mind spending the $15 to try the car out once to experience the banshee screaming of the electric motor, then go for it. But I wouldn't recommend purchasing this car with a view to competing across a season of racing with it. I just think you'll have a better experience in the existing Porsche Cup car, or even a GT4 of your choice. Speaking of better experiences, don't forget to take a look at the Apex Racing Academy. With the Silver membership, you could have access to 30 plus cars in time for the new season, however not this particular car, by signing up at apexracingac.com using my referral in the description below for 10% off your first month. In your subscription, we'll provide you with qualifying and race setups, all lap and B-lap files so you can compare directly against us in both your Delta and with the Ghost car. We have weekly group coaching sessions as well for GT3, GT4, TCR and Porsche Cup. Plus coaches are on hand all week long in Discord to answer any questions about setup, driving style or anything else iRacing related. Grab that referral code below to join the community now. So what do you guys think about the Mission R? Let me know in the comment section. With electric cars becoming more prevalent in real motorsport, do you want them in sim racing as well, or are you just happy to have more options to drive? Please do subscribe to the Apex Racing Team YouTube channel so you don't miss Kevin and Peter's first look at the Oschersleben and Rudskogen Centre. I'm going to get back now to driving something that burns not just rubber but fuel as well for my ARA data packs. See you guys in a couple of weeks for our open day.